John Woodcock.
Thank the Foreign Secretary for that response. Last week, 527 people were killed in Ghouta, including 129 children. The bombardment killed over 250 people in just 2 days, the deadliest 48 hours in the conflict since the 2013 gas attack, also on Ghouta. Mr. Speaker, this House failed them then. Now, surely we must find the courage to act. Right now, a team led by British surgeon David Nott is ready to evacuate 175 very sick children from Ghouta and 1,000 adults needing life-saving treatment. The UK could take them in. Will the government commit to do that? The EU is today announcing some stronger sanctions on regime officials. Will we also impose sanctions on Russian individuals and companies involved in the conflict? Will we have the courage to recognise what is blindingly obvious, that for all the so-called agreement to new resolutions, the Security Council is broken while one of its permanent members flouts the basic laws and systems of order it was created to uphold? That in these dreadful circumstances, being cowed into inaction by this strangulated body is a greater violation than seeking to act even without its authorisation. So will we work with any and all nations committed to returning humanity to Syria to consider the imposition of a no-fly zone over Ghouta, or for peacekeepers to allow aid to get in, or indeed for strikes on forces responsible for these atrocities like we failed to authorise in 2013. The men and women of Ghouta who lie in pieces deliberately targeted by Assad's Russia-enabled bombs, the dead children whose faces are altered by the chlorine gas that choked them, Mr. Speaker, they should not be strewn in the rubble of eastern Ghouta. Those bodies should be piled up in this chamber and lain at the feet of governments of every single nation which continues to shrug in the face of this horror. So my final question, Mr. Speaker, comes from a doctor in Ghouta who spoke to a British journalist yesterday. His voice apparently thick with exhaustion and resignation. He said, "I have a question for the world. What number of victims does the world need to show responsibility? It's moral responsibility, it's legal responsibility to stop these crimes." Yeah.